All right, Shalom Yashala, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Waharaka Kodash Brakatham. I like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akyam pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Aqua that they're listening. I got through the spirit, just a quick lesson. Just of course, for those who are not in the know, it's the government is on the brink. Salakia is on the brink of another what? Government shutdown, man. And it's evident, man, that prophecy is unfolding, and it's always unfolding. And call halal Yahbashim Shah for us to understand what's going on through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. And matter of fact, I always got to bring this out, man. This truth is repetitious, man, which is beautiful. Which is beautiful. It's a repetitious, thing. Getting these spiritual reps in, man. I don't care how many times these scriptures come out. May bring it out through the spirit every lesson, but hey, it's gonna definitely have you very familiar and on what's going on, and not to lose sight of things through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, man. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Okay, we understand what's going on with this whole government shutdown and so forth, man. See, what they're doing really, man, they're really just squeezing the life out of people, man. So in turn, what are they doing? They're making it to where the citizens here, those who are, are so-called legal or what have you, you got this big immigration and migration thing happening. You practically seeing people getting caught in the squeeze, man. And that squeeze is what? That squeeze is a level of dependency. See, we have a level of dependency on who? Yahweh Bashim Shah. Now, granted, we're in this society, brothers got 9 to 5s. Some brothers are the employer, in other words, are the entrepreneur or owner of businesses, but hey, look how all that got affected from 2020, man. Okay, all that got affected from 2020. So we knew through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashah things were never going to be the same. And that's why we're seeing more and more and more and more, even though the government shutdown is nothing new. But look how it prolongs things, especially for people who have necessities, man. And those are also with what? Children. Those who are caretakers, those who, if you don't, if you're not able to go to work, you don't eat type situation, man. And then be required to come in and still work, especially if you work for the government, man. You understand how much of a dirty game that is, man. But it's all prophecy, man. What's that? The EBT for some people, the food stamps or what have you, man. All that, I think they, so if the government does shut down after 12 a.m. tonight at midnight, Trump, they gonna take it there, man. It's supposedly supposed to be the Dems and their needs being met for how ICE agents are handling things, what they want, but it's all BS, man. Right wing, left wing, still the same bird, bro. Because if I'm not mistaken, the so-called Democrats were what? Responsible for the last shutdown, right? And they're supposed to be so-called for the people, man. These people are puppets and nothing more than for themselves. Now, you do have a level of reality within politics, because what? The people who are out here every day in real life are definitely feeling the effects of these BS policies and so forth, right? So just a reminder on that. Let me get back to the scriptures. This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Hey, the fear of Yahweh, that's our treasure, man. Like we say, man, some bros and felt the squeeze, but hey, but guess what? We're a unit, man. We're family, man, true family. You know, we understand, things are going to get tight. Things been tight, but things are only getting tighter, man. So that's what I mean with the squeeze, man. So if they're continuously going in here and shutting down these can't think of the word, but they're shutting down the government every so often, every couple of months. A lot of people had hell getting back on track with their needs being met with these food stamps and then government assistance, right? And then people who weren't working for such a long time, hey, you had people who were working for the government actually being penalized for getting a part-time gig, or getting penalized because they were supposed to, like, bro, and we keep saying this to you, Jake, man. E is not going to change. He doesn't give a shit if you eat or starve, man. And it's evident. Who would do that? You know what I'm saying? The damn devil is. Okay, that he's doing that. That's who would do it, man. He's conjuring all this up. Now, granted, of course, this is the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, so make no mistake. Never give Esau too much credit, but the Lord designed him to be who he is. And it's just facts, man. So a lot of Jake is, thinking E's gonna change, and and that this government shutdown is for the benefit of the people and so forth. It's all BS, man. Y'all can bear with me, Baba Kushah. This is back in Mark chapter 13, verse 17. And this is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach speaking, okay, the red letter. This is Mark chapter 13, verse 17. But woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Did I not just make mention of how these shutdowns and real people feel the effects of these things? People with small children, people with daycare, people, if the government is shut down and you had a so-called position and so forth with that, or you're contracted and you're up in the air and they wavering on when you coming back to work, bro. Now you figuring out, how are you going to make ends meet? And that's what a lot more people are figuring out, that, and this is nothing but more of a reminder, man. Hey, the squeeze is going to keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter, man. A lot of people with vehicles, new vehicles, or, man, having a vehicle and you got to get to point A to point B is a blessing in this society, due to the fact that people know how egregious that public transportation can be. It's lawlessness on that damn public transportation. Very filthy, very rude interactions with people. Just a terrible experience, for a decent amount of time that you do catch it. If you do have a pleasant day of public transportation, hey, call hello, yeah, Bashim Yahshua. But, bros know who've, been in, hey, I ain't too far removed from that. That can happen to any of us at any moment. And some brothers are, still, on that public transportation line, man. It's just, Babylon sucks. We need a kingdom, man. We need a kingdom. Jake thinks shit is gonna get better here, bro. You got the government continuously shutting down. Okay, because hey, let's be real. Brothers have 9 to 5s. Brothers are affected. Some sisters who believe are affected. That's why we further push this truth and going harder through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Because we're seeing this is live and direct. Okay? This is not just, oh man, what if this happened? That'd be crazy. That crazy theory is now being heavily publicized, televised, incentivized, everything vised. It's becoming, okay? Verse 18, and pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. Lo and behold, Winter just pretty much just cracked off, right? Just had a freeze here in Dallas, Texas, and hell, there was a lot of freezes, a lot of winter storms just around the nation, to be quite honest. Even though we know it's winter, right? But a lot of people were affected, man. You know, you got particular sides of towns that were out with power. Then what? Eventually, if the pipes froze over, you know, you got busted pipes and you got flooding. Okay, you got people who did, you know, some people who didn't get to eat. I mean, literally and figuratively, right? But more so like job wise, you know, you got some people who didn't have PTO. You know, some jobs aren't going to, you know, be kind to grant you that, man. These people are not here for your benefit. You're there for their benefit. Trust and believe you're there for their benefit. Okay? So a lot of people, you know, catching hell every which way, man. I'll continue reading verse 19. For in those days shall be affliction such as was not from the beginning of the creation which the Most High created unto this time, neither shall be. Okay, this is gonna be like no time, like no time that's been seen before, bro. It's gonna be like nothing like ever before, bro. Okay, the squeeze is coming. Okay, the squeeze is coming, man. Okay. I'll continue reading verse 20. And except that Yahweh has shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he hath chosen, he hath shortened the days. Okay. So this time is going by very fast, and call Halal Yahweh Shem Yahshua for that, man. It's like I always like to say, man, our ass whooping is almost up, man. Our ass whooping is almost up. Okay. So on the other end of that stick, that whooping stick, it's about to be reversed, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. The Lord is doing this for the elect's sake as well, man. Wrapping this whole disciplinary punishment captivity up. The Lord is wrapping it up. But within the process of wrapping it up, what? These prophecies are going to still continue to unfold, man. Okay? Verse 21, and then if any man shall say to you, lo, here is Hamashiach, or lo, he is there, believe him not. Yeah. See, because y'all, a lot of people have interpreted Yahweh Shah Hamashiach all wrong. For one, he's going to come back looking like a so-called Negro who's going to be pissed off and getting busy, first and foremost. Okay, Yahweh Shah Hamashiach is going to come back getting busy. Okay, and not playing games. Okay. Verse 22, for false Hamashiachs and false prophets shall rise and shall show signs and wonders to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. Okay, you're going to have, you know, you got a lot of people now. Everybody's so deep now. Everybody's so deep. Okay, and for any, first and foremost, is what? For clout, financial clout, any clout you could think of, man. Viral clout, any type of clout under the sun, people are willing to really scam people, man. They looking for that clout. Verse 23. But take ye heed, behold, I have foretold you all these things. Okay, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach has warned us, man. Yahweh Shah HaMashiach has warned the things to come. So don't be shocked. Okay? Hella more job losses, job cuts, more government shutdowns, more plagues to come, all that. Yahweh Shem Yahshua, bro, the writing's on the wall, you know, and call Halal Yahweh Shem Yahshua for that. But that's all I have on this. And Abaratazah, this has been edifying for the body. So with that, once again, call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Waharakak Wadash Brakatham. Once again, I'd like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Achiam, pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Aquas out there listening. Shalom.